My husband knows how to do that.
Just sometimes a little humor
Get your
can
story
get you
out.
through.
First time I saw my son was in a photo. It was a photo on my husband's phone. Our son was in the NICU, covered in wires. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. I wasn't naive. I knew the statistics, maybe too well. I'd published academic articles and lectured about the overuse of C-sections. I obsessed over risk factors and made every decision accordingly. I chose the hospital with the lowest C-section rate. I hired a doula. I lit sage and danced in the moonlight. Just kidding. I believe in evidence-based medicine, which is why I got a V-steam. I'd always wanted to experience pregnancy. It wasn't just about being a mom. It was about creating life inside of my body. I knew I'd be nauseated and tired. I'd waddle and struggle to reach my toes, but I was gonna feel powerful, or so I thought. The reality was nothing like I had imagined. I felt anything but powerful during my pregnancy. I was ill and depressed the entire time. I spent hours on the bathroom floor crying and vomiting. I called my doctor's office over and over, begging for help. I was told in veiled and not so veiled ways that none of my pain or suffering mattered, as long as the baby I was carrying was healthy. I had so many issues during pregnancy that I ended up on this complex regimen of medications. My daily schedule was like one of those logic problems on the SATs. If April has to take the blue pill no more than 30 minutes before or 2 hours after the green pill, and the green pill must be taken with food, but not water, and the yellow pill has to be taken if the train leaves the station at 3 p.m., then how long until April fucks this whole thing up and kills her baby? Well, eventually I made it to 40 weeks and then some. So I got a membrane sweep to get things moving along. The midwife said I was 2 centimeters, so should be soon. When labor contractions began the next night, I was rearing to go. I woke my husband up, I called the doula. Wait, did I mention that the original doula I hired after interviewing 8 different doulas fell off of a horse 2 weeks before my due date? Plot twist. Okay. Our hippy-dippy childbirth teacher had told us that you can tell how dilated someone is by looking at this line just above their butt crack. So it's 2 a.m. I'm looking in the mirror trying to see my own butt crack. And I'm asking my husband, has this line between my cheeks always been this red? Maybe I'm already 10 centimeters, we should go. So we rush to the hospital, get checked in. I have the cervical exam. The doctor says, you're only 1 centimeter dilated. But I was just 2. Have you checked my butt crack? I'm like, how could I go backwards? Doctor said, well, maybe the midwife's fingers were smaller. Thinking, how is this what passes for science? Wait. Not long after, the cascade of interventions began. That's what scholars call the medical interventions that have become normalized in hospital births. For nearly 40 hours, I laid in that hospital bed, willing my cervix to open. Open sesame! Nope. I kept fending off doctors who tried to get me to agree to a C-section because labor was taking too long. Too long for who? I'm the one trapped in this hospital bed, tangled up in wires like a caged animal. Eventually, though, I did get to 10 centimeters, and then I pushed for over 4 hours. I was pushing on my hands and knees when my shaking arms gave out, and I collapsed in a puddle of tears in the hospital bed. I was determined to get back up and keep trying when the doctor came in. No more negotiating, he said. "You need a C-section now. The baby is in distress." I tried to birth my son, but I failed. On December 21st, 2021, a surgeon cut through my skin, fat, muscles, and uterus and pulled my son out of my body. Then, silence. My husband and I held our breaths as doctors who were just out of our eye line tried to clear his lungs. After what felt like a lifetime, he finally let out a cry and was whisked off to the NICU before I could get a glimpse of him. The first time I saw my son was in a photo. I cried. I felt like I had failed myself and him. My son was discharged from the NICU later that day, but the sense of failure I felt lasted much longer. I thought that being armed with knowledge, I could avoid being another statistic. But that's the thing about motherhood. No amount of planning or research can really prepare you. I was naive to think it could. Thank you.